Good afternoon, familia. It's wonderful to see a full house. So good to see you all. Standing here with you today as the new Chief Executive Officer of NALEO and NALEO Educational Fund. Thank you. Thank you. I am truly filled with gratitude, humility, and a deep hope for the future of this organization and our nation, despite the enormous challenges that lie before us. To our board, to our members, and to our team, thank you. And to Arturo Vargas, a mentor and my friend, your legacy is a living thing. Arturo built a home for our mission, and I look forward to carrying it with pride and with purpose. Before we proceed, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the people who make this work possible. To our members, the elected and appointed officials on the front lines of our communities, to our sponsors and partners, you have stood with us, not because it was always easy, but because it was the right thing to do. And to the NALEO Educational Fund staff, who have carried on the legacy of our founder, Edward R. Roybal, with prestige and professionalism, you are all first in class. Please give yourselves a round of applause. And before I continue, I want to take a moment to recognize the veterans in the room and their families. Thank you for your service to our nation. When I started with this organization 25 years ago, I was proud to be working for my community, and I've had the privilege of doing so through many roles here at NALEO Educational Fund. And over those years, despite the challenges we have faced, I have seen what we can accomplish when we work together. But there is so much work ahead, and the stakes have never been higher for our community and our republic. We are living through a time of real division. You can feel it when you walk into a room. It's become a plague on our sense of civility, pushing us to retreat into echo chambers that do nothing to bring us closer together. And we must also be honest about what we are seeing within our communities and the real impact of our nation's policies on real people. Like many Americans, Latinos are hurting financially. When Latinos went to the polls in 2024, the economy was the #1 issue on their minds. High gas prices, the cost of housing, groceries, issues that affect all of us. Seeing our young people graduate from college today with record debt and fewer job prospects, or witnessing our seniors struggling in their golden years, that is not the American dream they were promised. And we have a responsibility to do better. This is why NALEO Educational Fund will continue to focus on these pocketbook issues through our programming. Because we know that when elected officials provide solutions to help solve these problems, our families thrive. And when our families do better, entire communities improve, which is good for the entire country. Latinos deeply understand the power of family and the great responsibility that comes with being a caregiver, a role that many in this room, as I've spoken to you, including myself, assume every day in taking care for our children, our parents, and grandparents. That community-centered lens through which we see the world only sharpens the realities around our broken immigration system, and the human element at play that we are seeing amongst immigrant families, mixed status households, everyday people, all of whom aspire to live in dignity. We cannot ignore the realities around border security and the need to enforce the law. Both of these things matter. There is a practical element at play here. Our country simply cannot function without immigrants filling essential jobs. It's just not possible. No matter what your motivations or values are, we should all be able to agree that the status quo is simply unacceptable. And despite our diverse opinions on how to solve these problems, the fact of the matter is that we can't deliver for our people if we keep fighting one another. Every day, I see elected officials, advocacy groups, other trusted leaders spending political capital and energy, hurling insults, imposing purity tests, and attacking one another. And while this may feel good in the moment, it does nothing to advance our shared goal of making life better for our communities. Our people need us to rise above the noise and deliver results. Because if it's not the people in this room leading and working toward that change, no one will. And so I say this on behalf of people like my mother and my father who immigrated to this country, and I've heard this story over and over again over the last day and a half, looking for opportunity and a better chance and a better life for their children. It's time for us to lead, not with ego and absolutes, but with empathy and common sense. Yes, we are a nation of laws, but we must also be a nation of values. And while we should never accept debates over people's humanity, we must strive to handle our policy disagreements with greater care and grace. We have a responsibility to model civility and discipline when the temperature rises. Yes, this looks like calling out political violence against public servants, elected officials, and law enforcement alike, but also being critical of those in power when we don't see our values reflected in how they treat our communities. On our core mission issues, we will remain unwavering and bold because we know that these are areas where we can make the biggest difference. We will also continue to provide premier programming to all of you so that this class of elected and appointed officials, as well as future ones, remain equipped and ready to lead in your communities with excellence. Now, we may not agree on every policy or every priority or every approach to tackling the challenges we face. And even when we believe at our very core that we are on the right side of an issue, we can never let those sentiments move us to destructive behavior that prevents us from achieving our collective progress. If you value delivering results amid tough political realities, no matter what side you're on, then I invite you to join NALEO in this next era of our work. If you are committed to making meaningful difference, like so many in this room today, then you will always have a home here. NALEO will always be a place that welcomes Democrats and Republicans and independents, young and old, gay and straight, urban and rural, US-born and immigrant, no matter what generation you are, we welcome anyone who believes in the power and promise of public service. We have a responsibility, not just as public servants, community members, and colleagues, but as human beings, not to stand by when something is wrong, but to be part of the solutions to the problems that we see. And this is not going to be easy, but it was never supposed to be. Democracy is messy, and policymaking can be an unforgiving labyrinth of setbacks and concessions. Sometimes the tides of populism on both sides, whether reactionary or revolutionary, can pull so hard that they can derail meaningful progress. But this is a reality of politics and policymaking. But learning to lead amid these challenges is what separates great leaders from those who dodge the hard choices or mistake noise for purpose. The mark of a true leader is someone who pushes through, knowing that they can't necessarily make everyone happy, but they can make life better for a lot of people. And that model of leadership is not just worth embodying, but it's worth fighting for. Don't let anyone tell you that collaborative governance, meaningful engagement, and measured action are ineffective. We know the impact NALEO Educational Fund has made and will continue to have with this approach to our work. In just the last few years, NALEO Educational Fund has made incredible strides toward major progress for all Latinos and all Americans. Because of us, more than 50,000 people are one step closer to the American dream with completed citizenship applications. Because of us, yes, that deserves an applause. Because of us, more than 250,000 questions about voting, the census, and citizenship have been answered through our toll-free bilingual hotline. And because of us, nearly 8,000 elected leaders have been trained and are delivering results for millions and millions of constituents. That is not ineffective. It is incredibly impactful. And to say that what we do does not matter is to say that what you do does not matter. And that does not match reality. Our work together has delivered real results for real people. Now look, I can appreciate that many in this room might have wanted me to come up here and join the chorus of national organizations lambasting and criticizing all the dysfunction in Washington. There is no shortage of national groups doing this on a daily basis. But each organization has an important role to play in the broader context of delivering change for our communities. That is why, as the head of NALEO and NALEO Educational Fund, I choose to renew our tradition of focusing on the collective agency and power that is in this room today. The role that our organizations have in this space is needed now more than ever. And I am reassured every day when I take stock of the talent, the commitment, the grit, the courage, and the ganas that allows us to endure in the face of adversity. There are so many things that define us as a community. We are a hard people to knock down. And I believe in our ability to find real solutions for ourselves. This new chapter for NALEO and NALEO Educational Fund is not about me. It's about all of us reimagining the future together. As an institution, we are restructuring to meet the moment. We are refining our programming to deepen impact. And we are building strategy for the next generation of Latino leaders. Because we're not just navigating an existing path, we're building new ones. And so I leave you with this. Lead with courage. Disagree with grace. Give each other off-ramps. Stand for those who can't. And never let fear write our story. Because our story, the story of Latinos in this great country, is one of perseverance, of power, and of promise. This is our moment. Let's step up forward together and take the future head on. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.